This is going to be a frustrating, sometimes hilarious journey. A food rebellion and a burning desire to quit diets with extra cheese, please. Let me start with a confession. For most of my life, I was absolutely convinced that food was the problem. Muffins were the villains. Ice cream, well, it was the criminal mastermind. And potato chips, potato chips were basically, the entire organized crime family. And yet, somehow, even when I dieted, even when I tried to control every bite, the weight kept coming back, sometimes with reinforcements. So eventually, I reached a point where I said something that shocked even me. I said, I'm done dieting, completely done. I remember pounding on my kitchen table. I'm thinking I'd come home from yet another weigh-in. I guess it didn't go well. It's been many years ago. Anyway, no more calorie counting, carbs, and all the crap that went with it. I was done. I knew there had to be something else going on. Or why do we go through that hell to get the pounds off only to gain it all back? Now, that might sound like the worst possible strategy for losing weight, but strangely enough, that decision is what finally changed everything. I just wanted to be like those mythical normal people, who could eat whatever they pleased, without guilt or calculation. Now, hold on tight, because we're about to embark on a totally outrageous weight loss approach. You see, I had my own epic battles with weight. I lost it, the control that is. I tried every fad diet known, only to find myself trapped in that cruel dieting cycle. Talk about yo-yo dieting. I wasn't allowed to chill at the bottom. No, not even for a second. I bounced right back up like a rubber ball. And somehow, I collected a few extra pounds on my journey to the top. It felt like the universe was playing a game at my expense. I reached a point where I just couldn't bear the thought of weight clubs and diets and pills and all those fat-reducing programs anymore. I declared enough is enough. No more dieting, no more torture. It struck me as utterly absurd that 85 to 95% of us would go through the agony of shedding all those pounds, feeling fabulous, if I managed to make it that far, strutting in new clothes, basking in compliments, only to watch the weight sneak back in, and with reinforcements. I confess mine didn't sneak. It was more like a landslide. My cute little love handles, now they became ski slopes. Why on earth do we subject ourselves to such madness? I pondered this question while reflecting on my weight-controlled life. And boy, did it all start early. My eating career began in infancy, where I cried incessantly, at least that's what my mom said, and drove my poor mother, to the brink of insanity. Her solution? Feeding me a meal that lasted a solid 24 hours. I'm sure I didn't cry as much as she said I did, but those early habits stuck with me like gum on a shoe. If things didn't go my way, I turned to eating as my emotional crutch. I spent a ridiculous amount of time obsessing over what I wanted to eat, what I couldn't eat, and what I shouldn't eat. It was like living in a cage of endless cravings with no escape hatch. Throughout my life, I've been overweight, chubby, and occasionally blimpish-like. And yes, I even rock the adorable baby fat look. You name it, I've been there, done that. I tried every diet known. I attended workshops with invisible on-staff doctors and nurses. Seriously, where were they hiding? They warned me that if I didn't regain control, like pay for their cures, I would meet an untimely demise. And let's not forget the diet pills that turned me into a human pinball, bouncing off walls at lightning speed. Well, with that kind of energy, I ate even faster. Talk about counterproductive. I ate excessively, often insanely, eating when I was full, eating no foods, binging when I thought no one was looking. Really? I was in ecstasy. When I had a weekend all to myself, I bought special groceries for the occasion. All my favorite junk foods. My family was no sooner out the drive than there I was, tearing the top off a bag of nachos or chips or whatever was there, and I devoured them like a long-lost lover. And oh, those dang lying scales, they dictated my mood and even determined the quality of my day. I was in pure agony. Oh, the promises I made to myself, never to overeat again. No more potato chips, chocolate, or ice cream. And in the next TV show, I found myself grazing on all that wonderful junk food that I loved. The guilty thoughts nagged at me all the time I was eating, but I continued, never allowing myself to enjoy the moment. This process would repeat itself over and over. Oh, the names I even called myself. But guess what? I continued to struggle until I finally admitted that I was like completely out of control. I yearned for control. But how could I ever find it? Well, I'm living proof that it's possible. Now, I thought I would lighten this up here just a wee bit, a bit here to prove my point. I'm sure you'll recognize yourself somehow in this little scenario. If not, I'm envious. You know the saying, the devil made me do it. Well, I believed he really did. I swear, he knew I loved my pralines and cream ice cream. And he played on my emotions by flashing pictures in my mind while I was watching television. He sat perched on my shoulder and with a deep, seductive voice. You know the scenario. Devil, go get the pralines and cream. Me, nope. Devil, but it's your favorite. I'm sending pictures. Look at that butterscotch swirl. Me, later. Devil, you've had a hard day. You deserve it. Me, fine, well, just a small bowl. Devil, stupid. The scale will know. And of course, you can't stick to anything. And I didn't even enjoy the dang ice cream. I didn't taste it. I inhaled it. So there I was, lost in the food maze again, acting out the tale of surrendering to the allure of consuming everything. Well, except the kitchen sink, which had vegetables and such. Let me confess to the depths of my overeating struggle. I found myself in a never-ending quest to devour everything in sight, mostly junk food, especially if it was junk food. And even then, I couldn't find that elusive feeling of fullness. It was like my stomach had a black hole that could never be satisfied. Now here's the kicker. Well, it may have seemed that I had control over everything else in my life, my overeating problem exposed the harsh truth. I was completely out of whack. At one point, everything started collapsing at the same time. I lost my job. I was 38, overweight, and the job market wasn't exactly rolling out the red carpet for someone that was obese. Money got tight. Friends got busy living their own lives. And I stayed home with ice cream. Oh, the joy of feeling left out while devouring an entire carton of ice cream alone. Ice cream understands, right? Really. My friends too, right? And I'll be honest, that wasn't a funny time. That was the time when I realized something had to change. Does any of this sound familiar to you? Take a moment to reflect. Is your life out of whack too? Maybe not like mine, but are you stuck in survival mode, barely scraping by? Is your home like a sanctuary of nurturing vibes? Or does it resemble an emotional roller coaster of depression and anger? Have your weight avoidance habits or eating struggles caused this in your relationship or in any other part of your life? I couldn't help but draw parallels between my overeating addiction and other substance abusers. Their struggles. Those folks, once they quit, are done. No more drinking, smoking, or any other indulgence. But me, I had to eat. So I found myself pondering the perplexing question, how on earth do I stop? Things eased up somewhat when I finally accepted that my weight wasn't entirely my fault. However, it was my responsibility to take action. That realization cracked open the cage of guilt I had built around myself for years. A self-imposed cage that kept me trapped in a never-ending cycle of overeating. And so my journey to transform my life began. I embarked on a path that led me to shed an incredible 60-plus pounds and keep them off all these years. And the surprising part, it didn't happen because I finally found the perfect diet. It happened when I finally changed the way I was thinking about food. Now I stand before you, ready to share the fruits of my labor, perhaps a brownie or two. At my heaviest, I weighed about 200 pounds. Today, I'm about 34 in that area. 134, sorry, and it stayed around there for years. And I want to share with you that it had nothing to do with diets. So buckle up and prepare to unravel the mysteries of weight loss without dieting and with a side of laughter. It's time to break free from the clutches of overeating and embark on a journey that will leave you lighter in body and spirit. Are you ready to dive in? Let's feast on success together. Meanwhile, take care, keep smiling. Until the next time. Bye for now.